by way of brief introduction, I thought I would share with you that the theme for the evening is sort of a boy and his truck. And the boy is Glen Hansard, who you know. I had the pleasure of meeting Glen at a wedding. I had been roped into singing. It gets worse. I had been roped into singing the Hawaiian version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. This terrible situation had its antecedents, and that's another story. But at the last minute, when I was pretty sure I was going to drown, you know, this red-headed Irish guy showed up, and it turned out to be Glen, and I was quickly able to hide behind him and his ukulele, and he carried me through it, and we got through that experience with our manhood semi-intact, and went out and had a few drinks and got to be good pals, and that's been a great pleasure for me. So a couple things you know about Glen. You know he's Irish. The red hair is unmistakable. I'm assuming you're here because you know he sings and plays guitar. He plays with a lovely, talented partner, Marquetta. He did 2 movies, many years apart, Commitments, and once. He won an Oscar on his first try, which is. I didn't even know him then. I was a little. I'm very happy for him in retrospect. And less well-known things about Glen. He gave me this jacket. It didn't fit him, and and now more to the point, which is I'm sure you don't know about Glen that he loves trucks. He really loves trucks. In particular, he has this thing about Land Rovers. He loves them, and he drives this enormous green monster, and you can see him coming through the streets of Dublin, which has no room for any such thing. He goes pounding along in this enormous Land Rover, and when I saw him last in Dublin, you know, I said, you know, where does this come from? Where do you get this love of trucks? He said, you know, I don't know. I just love them. You know, I always dream that I'll be out somewhere where you actually need one. And I said, that's funny. I said, you know, I'm going to Kenya, right from here, and you know, I work on this conservation project down there. It's in like the Maasai tribal region, and I've been going there for years. And I said, you know, they have a lot of Land Rovers there, and you should, you should come. You should come. And I, you know, you say things like that. Oh, you know, you should come to Kenya sometime. And he just went, okay. And I said, really, you know, like now, like tomorrow? And he said, yeah, well, you know, I'll figure it out. And so, so he came to Kenya, and you know, he was very struck by the Maasai guys. We had wonderful evenings in a cave where the Maasai guys were singing their songs about stealing cattle and impressing women, and Glen sang Van Morrison's Into the Slipstream. And really impressed them a lot with that, and other Celtic tribal songs. We kind of explained that we were a tribe of, you know, sort of the Irish were a tribe. And he was struck by the Maasai, he was struck by the landscape and the animals and all of that kind of stuff. But he was extremely impressed by the Land Rovers. And he got to drive them, and it was, I think, a real high point for him. And one day we were sitting around in a community meeting, and we were hearing about the things that this trust, it's called the Maasai Wilderness Conservation Trust, and it's a terrific organization that's working on helping local communities see the benefits of sustainable conservation practices and things like that. And I could tell Glen was listening. I could see him listening, you know, to the things that were going on and sort of nodding and hearing about the things that the trust needs to do its work. And then someone, amidst all this Swahili, sort of said, you know, we really need a truck. And Glen's head came up like someone had yanked on it with a string. And right there on the spot, he said, I'll get that. I'll buy a truck. I'd really like to buy a truck, and it was incredibly generous. And later I kind of turned to him and said, you know what a Land Rover costs down here? It's like you know, I said, I know you're on tour, but you're, you know, you're not Metallica. You can't just say I'm gonna buy a truck. Not quite yet. You know, you're playing in Largo. And he said, oh yeah, I should have thought of that. And I said, listen, you got something much better. You do this wonderful thing. You play. I said, play a few shows, and we'll raise the money for the truck. And that's what tonight's all about. And that's where your money for the tickets is going. And the people involved in the trust enormously appreciative to Glenn, and I know we're all enormously appreciative of you for responding to the spirit of that effort on Glenn's part and enfolding into his generosity. So we're very, very grateful to Glenn for his ongoing generosity to this little effort we're making, and excited to bring him here for you tonight. You can check out what Glenn's doing specifically on crowdrise.com, and what I'm doing with this trust. But without further ado, the reason you came, Glenn Hansard.
Thank you, Edward Norton. You guys over here, you have G.I. Joe, right? Well, in Ireland, we had Action Man. Action Man had eagle eyes, and there was a little button on the back of his head that you could press, and it would. So, Action Man had a Land Rover. An LA song, this is a Tim Buckley song. Just like a buzzing fly, I'll come into your life, and I float away like honey in the sun now.